Hi, in this video, we'll see how we can create our own repository and try to share it with other teams. Make some changes, go over commands like pull, push, commits. With no further ado, let's get started. To install Git in your system, first you'll have to download that from the internet and install it. So to download that in your Google browser, try to search for Git Bash. I'm choosing Git Bash Windows. Go for this one, which is git-scm. Click this link, download for Windows, and in that I'm going for 64-bit Git Windows setup. Click that link. So once you clicked it, you would have received .exe file, which is going to be located in your downloads folder. I'm trying to click this .exe file, which is opening my Git for Indo pop-up. So I'm clicking that as. Let's go to next, and this Git software is going to be installed in program file / git. It says that it already has one, so I already have one. I'm going to reinstall it. Just go with whatever is selected by default. Next, so there is this instruction which says let Git decide. Your default branch name is going to be master. So if you choose master here, by default, when you are trying to initialize Git in any folder or repository, your default branch is going to be master. Or if you want it to be overridden with a different name, that name is going to be main. By default, it is going to be main branch. So people who use Git after 2020 mostly prefer Git main as their default branch. I'm just going to keep master at the moment. So the rest all just go for next and finally install. So we basically didn't modify anything. We went with the default setting what the Git came with. By the time this is getting installed, we will try to open the command prompt just to be prepared once this installation is successfully done. And this, I'm going to uncheck this. I don't want to view the release notes. So finally, I have my installation complete. I'm going to click the finish. Once I click finish, the command prompt window which I have kept open, in that I will be able to check whether Git has been installed or not. So I can try that with git -version. Okay, let's open a new session. So in my new session, I have my Git installed. So when you give this git command git-version, you will see the Git version that has got installed. So for me, it is showing that 2.47 version has been installed. So if this is appearing in your system, then it means your Git is successfully installed and good for work. If you're using Windows system, one of the easiest ways to interact with your file system and managing your project is by PowerShell. So let's look for PowerShell in the system. I have opened my PowerShell. When your PowerShell is open, it will point to your root user directory, which is basically C users and your username of the system. And then after that, you will have to navigate to your project folder. So one way to navigate to your project folder is you should know your folder name and you have to mention the folder name after CD. So CD is an abbreviation for check disk, and I'm going to navigate to project A folder. So this folder has already been created. If you don't have this folder in your system, you can try to come out from any directory using CD and to create a folder you can use the command mkdir, which is make directory and your folder name. I'm going to give it as folder test. So this is one of the way to create your folder inside your system using PowerShell, or we can always create folder using the screen UI option. Like, let me demonstrate. I click folder and let's say I'm going to the documents, and inside that I'm going to clicking new and click the folder and give your folder name, which is going to be folder test. And this folder location is going to be, I'm going to click the properties. You can also try using opening it in terminal. But let's just click properties and copy this location of your directory. I'm going to give cd this and whatever the folder name that we created, which was folder test A. So this part of the screen is we have the folder created in the root user directory, and I also have the same folder created with an additional word A at the end at a different directory, which is inside my documents. So this is one of the ways for you to create your folder. Anyways, I want to go back to the root user directory, and then after I go back to that, I will wanted to navigate inside the project A folder, and inside that is where I'm going to create my own repo where I wanted to add files, make changes, and share it. So we are inside the directory called project A, which is not having any content. So I'm trying to show that by typing ls command. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a directory first, and my directory name is going to be main directory. So this is going to be my main repo. So once I have created the repo, I'm going to navigate inside this repo. Basically, this main repo is the folder, and inside this folder, I'm going to initiate the Git. So now that I have initiated the Git for this folder, let's try to add some files in it. So for that, I'm going to use echo command followed with instruction file1. And I'm using the pipeline symbol so that the instruction is going to be saved inside a file called file1.txt. So inside this directory, this is main repo, and inside my main repo, which is initiated with the Git, I'm adding this file. So after I add, I can always check my Git status. So at this moment, it is under the untracked file. So your changes are not staged yet because this is a brand new folder with no contents in it. So let's try to add it. So you can put git add followed by asterisk or period or the file name. So I'm going to add asterisk for this demo. When you do add, and if there are multiple files that have got created, everything will get added. So if you have just one or two files, you can mention the name also by copy pasting from here. So after you do this, you give git commit -m and give the name for this. So I'm simply going to give it like file1. That's my commit message. I'm just keeping it as simple as possible. So we have our repo created, and the repo is having one file in it. So we can always check that with our git log statement. So if you want to keep your git log statement very simple, you can use git log one-liner. So when you use git log one-liner, you will see the compact name and your head pointing to the master and the pointing to the latest commit. So my latest commit is given as file1. Let's try to add another file as well. So for this, I'm going to be like this is file2. This is going to be the content of the file which I'm creating, and I'm pipelining it to file2.txt. Now when we see git status, the git status is we have one untracked file, so we'll have to add it, which is file2. This time I'm mentioning the name directly file2.txt. And now if you see the git status, so it shows now there is one new file and that is going to be committed next. So let's try to commit it. So which is git commit -m. I'm going to give name as file2. We'll make this git commit instruction as something meaningful. For the demonstration, I'm keeping it plainly simple. And now when you try your git log, you have this huge instruction. We can always go for git log one-liner. So your head is pointing to the latest commit, which is file2, and this is your first commit, which was file1. So this is my main repo. Now let's assume there is another team that also wants to use this main repo. So for that, I'm going to open one more PowerShell and let's navigate to the project A. And in this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another directory called team A just to make differentiation. So create make directory team A. So we have a directory called team A. Now navigate inside that. So here we have. So now inside this, I'm going to clear and keep this screen simple. So now for the team A directory, I'm going to make a clone of my main repo, which is give the path of your main repo. Is going to be main repo. So if you look at it, we have got a copy of this main repo inside team A. Let's look at it. So you have main repo here. So inside your team A, now you have your main repo. So try to navigate inside your main repo here. So you have a copy of the main repo which was committed by the project A as your main repo. And this is going to be your local copy. Assume that team A is working on the local copy of it. Now let's check whether the remote is set for this. Since we have cloned, it should be able to it would have automatically set which is remote for your this local copy that you have just cloned. So I'm going to try with git remote B. So if you look at it, it's showing that your main repo from the project team, project A team is the main repo, and which is correct. So now let's try to add some file inside this main repo that we have here. So we are in main repo. Let's try to use the echo command and team A changes. So for this instruction, I want the file to be saved as team A file, or I can put something like file3.txt. And when you see the git status now, you see the file3 is being staged. Now let's try to add. It is in the untracked region. We'll need to track it. So we'll have to use git add. So I'm trying to add them and then try to commit it. I'll put the commit message slightly different this time, which is going to be team A file3. So we have done that now. What we'll do is we'll try to do git push origin master. Now, if you look at this message, you're getting this message because by default, when you're trying to clone and have a local working copy, you will have branches created and the default branch is master, and the main branch that we are trying to push it to, which is your main repo in the project A directory, is also having a master, and you cannot push from this master to that directly. So what we'll do is we have this main repo master with us, and what we'll do is we'll try to check out as a new branch. We'll name it as feature A. Let's try to push this branch feature A. So we have pushed this branch to your main repo, and let's go to our main repo, which is in the other tab, and I have now navigated to this tab. And here we'll have to look for the changes. So I'm going to first check the git status. Let's go for the git log on liner. So we have the head pointing to file 2 and it is also showing file 1. So once I come here to my main repo from the project A, here what I'll have to do is I'll have to check out master. So what we did is we have pushed it from the team A, we have pushed a branch, and now I'm coming to the main repo from the project A. So here what you'll have to do is you'll check out the master and try to merge the branch that you have pushed, which is feature A. So now that we have merge that feature, let's try to list it. So we have 3 files now, and we can also see the git log lineup. So you saw that you have your own main repo, and which had 2 files initially, and there was team A which was trying to add a new file to your main repo, and they try to push it and you got it merged in your main repo from your main repo directory. So now that we have merged our feature A branch pushed by the team A to your main repo, now what you will have to do is you will have to check whether your branches have been successfully merged to your main repo. So from this window where our main repo is present, I'm going to navigate to our team A repo. Let's look at the number of branches we have in this. So you have feature A branch and you have master branch. So what we'll do now is we'll try to pull the master from the main repo, which is going to be git pull origin master. So the message that you're seeing here is your branch is already up to date with your master. So what it says is up to date. So meaning there has not been any new change in your main repo. So let's see if we will try to add any changes in this repo. So what I'm going to do is let's use our command echo, and this is going to be file4, which is going to be pipeline to file4.txt. This is the file I'm going to add. And for this, what I'm going to do is git add file4.txt, git commit file4. So now that we have added a new change to your main repo, let's also put git one line log. So your current version of your master is going to have 4th file in it, whereas when you go to your team A, there is no 4th file present in it as of now. But when you try to pull the master, you will see that the 4th file has now been received at your team A repo. So now that you have 4 files in it. Now one question that one might arise or one might be having is when to use git pull or git fetch. So when you're going to do a git pull, it is automatically going to get merged into your local working copy. So all we did is we did a git pull and we already have your 4th file here. Now let's try to add another file and let's try to do git fetch. I'm going to add file 5 in my main repo. Let's git add file 5.txt git commit file 5. So we've made our commit here, and our status for your git log is going to show fourth and fifth file as well. So your current version of your commit is going to show your fifth file. Now when you come to your team.js main repo, this time we're going to do git fetch origin. So when you perform your git fetch origin, you still have your 4 files. Whereas when you were trying to perform git pull origin master, you got the 4 file last time as well. Whereas now that we have added 5 files, like I have introduced one more change, this file is not yet merged in this. That's because we have only fetched. Whereas if I wanted that to be merged in my local copy, then I'll have to use git pull origin master, and then now I'll have all the 5 files with me. And now when you wanted to do any changes, create your own branch or check out a new branch, make the changes and try to push it to your origin master, and go to your origin master, try to check out your master from here and try to merge. So let's try to. And with that note, we saw how to use git pull, git push, git fetch, saw git init, git clone, and we also saw how to merge our branch from the local working copy to your remote branch. Thanks for watching and hope it helps. Bye.